and keep all my family safe. Amen.
Aren't you forgetting something?
Oh, right. And Haman, Uriah, and Raviel, please kill all of my enemies. Amen.
Good afternoon, Genesys gamers. I'm MBT, and this is 100 Point Playtesting. Well, we've covered the deck that I played for the NAGC. Now it's time to steal from another Yugi tuber. This is the archetype Sam represented at the event, although with a few changes. Presenting what knocked me out, Sacred Beast.
The Sacred Heart.
So here's the list: Zachary Ristall's top 8 deck from the Oceanic Genesis WCQ. As always, I'll give you a background about the archetype, a little bit of a discussion about what I hope the deck can do, and of course the card by card. But first, this video is sponsored by Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck. Looking for a place to steal, find inspiration for Genesis decks? Well, look no further. I've already spent years telling you about how Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck is the best repository of deck lists, strategy articles, third-party assistance with alternate ways to play Yu-Gi-Oh!, and card collection management on the internet. But right now, it's also the best way to find Genesis lists. You can sort by deck type, filter high-level tournaments to see what's been working, and download decks you see in any format you desire. That's why I'm proud to be sponsored by www.ygoprodeck.com. Now back to the video. With that, let's slide into Sacred Beast. Sacred Beast is a rare example of legacy support being extremely funny. Instead of adding new cards to supplement the existing 2 attempts at Sacred Beast retrains, they just straight up made a new series of cards. And it worked! These cards are leagues better than the Sacred Beasts of old, and for the first time in forever, enable you to play all 3 without feeling absolutely awful. Like many debut archetypes, these are extremely underpointed in Genesis, with points concentrated in the 1 of Summoner, giving the deck massive build variation, either the ability to play a more mid-range game with non-engine, or load up on points for high rollers like Colossus. Either way, it's a cool deck that has an okay finish across all the Genesis championships, which is a high watermark for anime retrains. So with that, let's get into the card by card. First up, the Sacred Beasts. 3 copies of Calamity of the Sacred Beast, Haemon, the Lord of Striking Thunder, who can't be normal summoned or set, but has to be special summoned by the effect of a Sacred Beast card, can reveal himself in the hand, then add a Sacred Beast spell from your deck to your hand, then discard a card. And then once per turn, if a monster is sent to your opponent's graveyard, they can take 1,000. You take no damage if it's sent off the field by card effect also. I don't think that's going to come up too often. 3 copies of Infinity of the Sacred Beast, Raviel, Lord of Phantasms, also has to be summoned using the effect of a Sacred Beast card. You can reveal this card in your hand to add a Sacred Beast monster from your deck to your hand, then discard a card. And then once per turn as a quick, you contribute 2 other Sacred Beast monsters to destroy as many monsters your opponent controls as possible, and if you do, it gains 1,000 for each destroyed. Finally, Inferno of the Sacred Beast, Uriel, Lord of Searing Flames, also has to be special summoned by the effect of a Sacred Beast card, can reveal itself in the hand to add a trap and then discard a card, and once per turn can target a spell trap on the field and destroy it, but neither player can activate effects in response to this activation. This is a deceptively powerful effect. We're playing 1 Shadal Beast because the field spell doesn't need to send the same named stuff, and this is a way to kind of recoup the losses of discarding all the time. We've got 3 copies of Card of the Soul, which adds a monster whose attack and defense equal your life points, and what do you know, 4,000 plus 4,000 is in fact 8,000. 3 copies of Sacred Beast Released, which is just graceful charity for Sacred Beast cards from deck, and then 2 copies of Fallen Paradise of the Sacred Beast, which allows you to thrice per turn during your main phase send 3 other cards of the same type, monster, spell, or trap, from your hand or face-up field to the graveyard to special summon a Sacred Beast from your hand, deck, or graveyard, or banishment, and if you do, it's unaffected by your opponent's activated spell trap effects. You can draw 2 cards if you control a Sacred Beast. Finally, we've got 1 Sacred Beast Combined Assault, which is kind of a searchable Omni-Negate that targets the card it will be negating, and enables you to fusion summon a big stupid guy. 4 pointed cards are on 3 Fuelos, 2 Ghost Spell and Haunted Mansion, 1 Summoner of the Sacred Beast who can reveal himself in the hand, discard a card, and special summon a Sacred Beast monster from your hand in defense position, or discard a card to summon a Sacred Beast monster from your hand or graveyard in defense position, except a level 8 monster. We've got 3 copies of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, 3 copies of Martyr of the Sacred Beast, 2 effects. 1, if normal or special, you can put a Sacred Beast field spell or continuous spell from your deck face up on your field, and if you control a Sacred Beast monster, you can special summon 2 more of him from pretty much anywhere. Finally, we've got Sacred Beast Thunderclap, which during your main phase can put the field spell onto the field and can reveal a level 10 Sacred Beast monster from your hand. Put 2 additional Thunderclaps on your field as well. It also does something else. During the end phase, it adds itself back to your hand. 3 copies of Dark Ruler No More, 3 copies of Dark Hole, a Forbidden Chalice, and a Crow. In the extra, we've got the Chaotic Phantasmal Sacred Beast, which is just a big guy that's hard to remove. El Shadal Mesha Rare for sideboarded Shadal Fusion strategy, Shekanaga and Construct for the same. The trains, because this deck farts out 10s, one copy of Ensemble Blue Rabina and Residol Starling, because technically you can go into 1s, and the big boy himself, Varudris, Final Bringer of the End Times, which is where most of your points are concentrated. In the side, we've got the Winged Dragon of Ra Sphere mode, Shadal Dragon, Nace Shadal Genius, 3 Shadal Fusion, 3 Unbreakable Xyz Barrier, 3 Lancia, and a Forbidden Chalice. So with that, let's hop into some games. Our match is up against the big bad boy of the format in Blitzclick. We are going first, like it matters in this matchup, and we're going to begin with a copy of Card of the Soul. Since we're at 8, we can get the 4/4 Haemon. We will activate the effect of the Haemon in order to grab a Sacred Beast release from deck to hand, pitching the Mulcharmy Fuwalos, then activate the Sacred Beast release in order to Graceful Charity ourselves. We'll discard 2 cards, including a Summoner of the Sacred Beast. On our way to Martyr, we'll trigger the effect of the Martyr in order to set a Sacred Beast Thunderclap, then Sacred Beast Thunderclap for 2 more copies of itself, and a Fallen Paradise of the Sacred Beast. From here, we can activate the effect of the Uriah for the trap, pitching the Uriah, and Raviel for, let's say, another Haemon, pitching the Raviel. Now it's time to start laying on the thrice per turn effect of Fallen Paradise of the Sacred Beast. We will send our continuous spells for a Uriah, draw 2, then activate the effect of Martyr in order to summon 2 Martyr from the deck, on our way to activating it a second time. Since we have 3 monsters in hand, we can not only use the Summoner to summon back Raviel, but the effect of the Fallen Paradise to send the monsters for another Haemon, which enables us to overlay for a Varudris and draw off of this Shadal Beast. Our opponent has a Dogmatica Fleur-de-Lis, but that's no big deal because our Uriah trades for the set copy of Dogmatica Punishment. We'll pass back to our opponent, who will draw for turn. They're going to begin with a copy of Pot of Extravagance, which is probably worth the Omni to me. From here, they are going to go ahead and start blitzclicking. First comes the 7th Tachyon. They're going to grab a Surge. They'll activate the Surge in order to trade for the Varudris. That is regrettably worth it to me. Afterwards, that Surge just comes down anyway, and we'll have to contest some stuff. Grain comes down, but we can use Uriah in order to pop our own card so that a card hasn't been destroyed by the effect of a Blitzclick. They can trigger the effect of the Surge to grab an Emmy and then activate the Emmy effect, but they target our Raviel, which we can dodge using the trap card in our graveyard to fusion summon into the Chaotic Phantasmal Sacred Beast. They'll go Breakaway for a trap card, then Alternator to shuffle back the Emmy and grab a copy of Whisker, but nothing's been destroyed by the effect of a Blitzclick monster, so at present it doesn't do anything. Still, it's a little formidable on their turn, so we're going to have to play around it as best we can. At end step, we'll go ahead and gain a whole bunch of life points courtesy of our fusion monster and add half of our graveyard back to our hand, a la Branded. Our opponent's going to go for Blitzclick Alternator for Crackle, so as long as we don't activate the effect of a monster on field, we should be okay. We are going to go ahead and instead go for the effect of Sacred Beast Thunderclap, added back to our hand at the end of last turn, then the effect of Fallen Paradise of the Sacred Beast, both to draw 2 and to bring back Uriah. We'll switch our monster to attack, grab a card off of Sacred Beast released, and then finally use the effect of the Fallen Paradise for a Raviel. So, pretty textbook game 1, but here's what we're working with for game 2. As you can see, we've got a Lancia and a lot of engine, unfortunately. This Forbidden Chalice is going to have to do a lot. Our opponent's going to begin with an Emmy, then pop it themselves with a Surge, specialing a Crackle. From here, they can activate the effect of Whisker, popping itself to trigger the effect of the Crackle, so we'll chain a Lancia so they can't get a good trap card off. They send Return Stroke instead, and let's see if we can play through it. We'll begin with a copy of Martyr. They will activate the effect of Return Stroke. That will grab back this copy of Emmy. Unfortunately for us, as we set the Sacred Beast Thunderclap, they can trigger the Emmy in order to pop our Martyr. They'll summon out the Surge, then afterwards, they will be able to activate the effect of Crackle. We will Forbidden Chalice and activate the effect of Thunderclap, but regrettably, they still have Whisker live. Whisker comes down, as does Emmy. They'll pop both a Thunderclap and the Field Spell and proc 2 of the effects of their individual Blitzclicks to set up for next turn, grabbing a trap card and an additional monster, and things are looking pretty bleak. We don't have 3 of anything, so despite the fact that we have another Fallen Paradise of the Sacred Beast, it doesn't do anything. We'll grab the trap, set the trap, and scoop it up. So it's time for that all-important game 3, and whoa, 4 hand craps and a 1-card Charter. Well, to be fair, it's a very good 1-card Charter. We're going to begin with a copy of Sacred Beast released. We'll discard 2 cards, including a Summoner, and then go for a Martyr. We'll activate the effect of the Martyr to set a copy of Sacred Beast Thunderclap, then activate its effect into a Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. Okay, we're still playing. We'll go for Raviel here. We'll pitch the Raviel, then afterwards we can go for this copy of Haemon in order to pitch the Haemon. We can set the Field Spell here, and then we can activate the Summoner to bring out a Raviel. That allows us to draw 2 cards, then activate Martyr in order to summon 2 monsters from our deck, and of course we can still activate Fallen Paradise to get a copy of Uriah. We're just going to go ahead and set 2 and pass here. This is a pretty formidable board, even though it doesn't look so. Our opponent's going to begin with a copy of Gordian Schneider. Okay, that is worth an Artifact Lancia for sure. They're going to go for Emmy afterwards. We will negate in order to prevent their monster from coming out. Down comes Grain and Thunder King, Ryo, and Whisker. Unfortunately, that's going to blow up the entire field and put us under the Thunder King lock, but it's not going to kill us, importantly. We can maybe still do it, but it will require some work. Our opponent's going to negate the effect of our monster in the graveyard using Whisker, then trigger the effect of Emmy popping our Fallen Paradise of the Sacred Beast, and unfortunately, only netting us the Sacred Beast Thunderclap to grip. A Ghost Bell to draw here. Okay, so Thunderclap here is going to get us 2 more Thunderclaps, and we can set another Fallen Paradise at the Sacred Beast. We'll use its effect for a Raviel, and then use its effect to draw 2 cards, and then we'll go to the battle phase to walk over the Thunder King Ryo. Now that that's gone, we can start using the effects that it was stopping. One of them is the Sacred Beast release, and then afterwards, of course, we can use the added Haemon in order to grab another Sacred Beast release, pitching an individual card before firing that sucker off. We can use the effect of Raviel here to get another Haemon, discard the Sacred Beast release because I realized we didn't have enough targets. Then we'll use the effect of Fallen Paradise in order to get another 10 on our field to overlay for Varudris. Our opponent will draw for turn, and they don't have anything that cleanly outs the Varudris in defense position, which is nice, though they do have a lot to threaten in end step. We will activate a graveyard effect, they'll activate Whisker, we'll activate Varudris. They will unfortunately still be able to trigger the Emmy, popping the Varudris, but we should be able to get it on our following turn, because even though the step ladder triggers, we have the DD Crow to contest the target, so no Crackle nor Thunder King for them. They will get the alternator off of the Emmy here, but that's no big deal because we can just walk over it. We've drawn another Ghost Bell in Haunted Mansion. We're going to begin with the Sacred Beast Thunderclap added back to our hand once again, then we'll use the effect of the Fallen Paradise for a 4. We will activate the effect of the Sacred Beast release and grab another card from our deck before activating the effect of our Martyr of the Sacred Beast to summon 2 from the yard, using the effect of the field spell once again to draw 2 cards before we send all that to the graveyard for a Summoner. Summoner's effect in order to summon a Raviel in defense position, and then summon 1 in attack courtesy of Fallen Paradise. We will get in for just over lethal. Thank you, Haemon, for doing 1,000. Oh my goodness. So we're back with the deck, and what a joy. Let's do the pros and cons. First, the pros. 1. This end board plays exceptionally well into stuff. Sitting on a big unaffected board wipe and letting back row and hand traps do the heavy lifting means you don't have to worry very much about the Charmies or Nibiru. 2, it's very hard to interact with. The cards being available from just about everywhere means your opponent has to have extremely specific answers to stop your combo. And 3, it just feels awesome to win with these cards, like big, silly, stinking bosses with big, silly effects. And the cons. 1, the end board isn't an automatic winner. It is a lot more close to Fairy Tale or Blitzclick than like Satellar Knight or Hero. 2, Card of the Soul is a quirky card. There's a bunch of cards in off archetypes that just randomly gain or lose you life, and sometimes you'll be cut off from the search spell just by Longwan or something. And 3, unlike most decks, this one does have a killer floodgate. Eye and a Ferd, already playable against Blitz, prevent you from revealing, which screws up your whole game plan. All in all, man, this is just one of those decks that really justifies Genesys' existence, and I recommend it to anyone trying out the format.